March 20th, 2003. The skies above Baghdad burn with fire. The United States has just launched Operation Iraqi Freedom. President George W. Bush addresses the nation, declaring that the goal is to disarm Iraq of weapons of mass destruction, end Saddam Hussein's support for terrorism, and free the Iraqi people. But as bombs fall, one question echoes across the decades. What was the real reason the United States invaded Iraq? This is not just a story of war. It's a story of fear, ambition, and belief. A story where intelligence, ideology, and emotion collided and changed the world forever. Chapter 1. The official story. Weapons of mass destruction. The U.S. government claimed that Saddam Hussein, Iraq's dictator since 1979, possessed weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs. President Bush warned that Saddam could produce chemical and biological weapons capable of mass murder, and that he was secretly developing nuclear arms. U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell stood before the United Nations Security Council, holding a vial of simulated anthrax, declaring that Iraq was defying global law. The world watched, uneasy but uncertain. The message was clear. If the world didn't stop Saddam now, catastrophe could strike later. But here's the truth. No such weapons were ever found. After the invasion, the Iraq Survey Group, a US-led inspection team, spent years searching. Their final report concluded that Iraq had dismantled its WMD programs in the 1990s after the Gulf War. The justification for war had collapsed, but only after hundreds of thousands of lives were already lost. Chapter 2. The Context of Fear, America. After 9/11. To understand why the U.S. went to war, we must return to September 11th, 2001. The attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon shattered America's sense of invulnerability. The nation entered a state of collective fear and anger. In the emotional aftermath, President Bush declared a war on terror. The idea was simple: prevent another 9/11, no matter the cost. And while Iraq had no proven link to al-Qaeda or Osama bin Laden, the Bush administration painted Saddam Hussein as part of a global axis of evil, alongside Iran and North Korea. The logic was preemptive. If we wait for threats to fully materialize, we will have waited too long. In that fearful atmosphere, the threshold for evidence collapsed. The war became not just a strategic choice, but an emotional one. Chapter 3. The geopolitical game, oil and power. Officially, the war was about security, but strategically, it was about power. Iraq holds the 5th largest proven oil reserves in the world. While the U.S. did not seize Iraq's oil fields outright, controlling access to this vital resource offered immense geopolitical leverage. After the Cold War, America stood as the sole superpower, and the Middle East remained the most volatile, yet most crucial, region on Earth. By toppling Saddam, the U.S. could eliminate a hostile regime, establish a permanent military foothold between Iran and Syria, shape the region's future on American terms. It wasn't just about barrels of oil, it was about the energy arteries of the world economy. If you control the Middle East, you don't just control oil, you control global stability. Chapter 4. The Neoconservative Vision, Remaking the Middle East. Inside Washington, a powerful ideological group shaped the invasion's blueprint. They were called the Neoconservatives, including Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and Paul Wolfowitz. They believed that American military power could spread democracy and reshape the world. Their vision? Remove Saddam, establish a democratic Iraq, and spark a wave of liberal revolutions across the Arab world. In their minds, the Iraq War wasn't just a military campaign, it was a moral mission, a way to prove that American values, freedom, capitalism, democracy, could transform even the harshest deserts of dictatorship. But the neocon dream collided with reality. Instead of stability, Iraq descended into chaos. Instead of democracy, Sectarian violence tore the country apart, and instead of gratitude, the world saw America as an empire in denial. Chapter 5. The Myth of Intelligence. How failure became fact. Intelligence agencies played a central role in selling the war. Reports claimed Iraq had chemical stockpiles and secret nuclear programs. But much of this evidence came from unverified sources, defectors, and misinterpretations. For example, the infamous claim that Iraq tried to buy uranium from Niger was based on forged documents. Satellite photos showing mobile weapons labs were later found to be water trucks. Even within the CIA, analysts warned the evidence was weak. But political pressure silenced doubts. When a nation wants to believe something badly enough, it often does. Chapter 6. The Human Cost. What war really brought. When the invasion began, American forces crushed Iraq's military in weeks. Saddam's statue fell in Baghdad, symbolizing victory. But then came the occupation and the unraveling. Without Saddam's control, Iraq fractured along sectarian lines: Sunni versus Shia, Arab versus Kurd. The U.S. dissolved the Iraqi army and government, leaving hundreds of thousands of armed men jobless and angry. Insurgency erupted. Car bombs, kidnappings, assassinations, daily horrors became the new reality. Between 2003 and 2011, over 4,000 U.S. troops were killed. An estimated 500,000 Iraqis died. Millions were displaced. The invasion meant to bring freedom instead unleashed one of the darkest chapters of modern warfare. And out of that chaos rose a new monster, ISIS, born in the ashes of the occupation. Chapter 7. The Psychological War, the Search for Control. The Iraq War was not only fought on the battlefield, it was fought in the American psyche. After 9/11, the U.S. was desperate to regain a sense of control. Invading Iraq became a symbolic act, proof that America was still powerful, still decisive. But beneath that show of strength lay insecurity. In trying to dominate the Middle East, the U.S. revealed its own fear of decline, the sense that chaos was spreading faster than it could contain. The war became a mirror of the American condition: brilliant technology, vast resources, but a fragile understanding of culture, identity, and consequence. Chapter 8. The Political Machine, Spin, Media, and Myth. The Iraq War was also a war of media manipulation. Television networks aired the invasion like a video game, explosions lighting up the night sky, reporters in helmets describing the shock and awe. The phrase itself, Operation Iraqi Freedom, wrapped destruction in moral language. The administration knew that perception shapes history, and for a time it worked. Bush's approval rating soared to over 70% after the invasion. Critics were branded unpatriotic. But as the body count rose and no WMDs appeared, the illusion broke. The same media that had celebrated the war turned on it, exposing the contradictions and deceptions behind the scenes. Chapter 9. The Aftermath, Lessons Written in Blood. By 2011, American forces withdrew. Saddam was executed, but Iraq was fractured and unstable. The war cost the U.S. nearly $2 trillion and damaged its global credibility. In hindsight, even some of its architects admitted regret. Colin Powell famously said, "If you break it, you own it." And America had broken Iraq, politically, socially, and psychologically. The Iraq War became a case study in how good intentions and bad intelligence can destroy nations. It taught a painful truth: military power can topple regimes, but it cannot engineer societies. Chapter 10. The Real Reasons: Fear, Power, and Belief. So what was the war really about? Not just one reason, but a web of them. Category: hidden motivation. Fear, the trauma of 9/11, desire for security. Power control over oil, geography, and global influence. Ideology, belief in America's role as the world's redeemer. Politics, rallying public opinion through fear. Economics, protecting energy markets and defense interests. The Iraq War, in essence, was not a simple lie. It was a shared delusion, a story that America told itself to make sense of fear, to justify power, and to hold on to the illusion of control. Chapter 11. The Legacy, What We Still Don't Understand. 20 years later, the shadow of Iraq still lingers. The Middle East remains unstable. The credibility of U.S. foreign policy still bears the scars, and the question remains, could it all have been avoided? Perhaps, but history rarely moves in straight lines. It twists, bends, and repeats, shaped by human ambition and fear. The Iraq War was not just a military failure, it was a philosophical one. It revealed the limits of certainty in an uncertain world. Closing narration. The lesson of power. In the end, the Iraq War was not only about what America did to Iraq, it was about what Iraq revealed about America. A nation's greatest battles are often not fought abroad, but within, between truth and illusion, power and humility, fear and understanding. Perhaps the real question isn't why the U.S. invaded Iraq, but why humanity keeps repeating the same mistakes, believing that force can fix fear and that dominance can deliver peace. If you found this exploration insightful, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Timeless Questions channel for more deep dives into philosophy, history, and human nature. Because the questions may be ancient, but the wisdom is timeless.